What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard of Ballard Sports Media coming at you today, recording this on a Tuesday, September 19th, 2023, for you, Ohio State and Notre Dame. This is a big game this weekend in South Bend. These teams met last year. Ohio State got the victory. This is a home and home. You could say it's a rivalry. I know Michigan Notre Dame is a big rivalry, but I don't know. I understand these teams have met many times before, but it's not big enough to where it's annual. It's not big enough to where it's, uh, it's once in a blue moon and possibly in the postseason is what it is. I remember we did a flashback for it last year. I think we went back to 1935 when these teams had met. And we had talked about it in the off season. I apologize. We haven't done any flashbacks lately. It's just been so busy with work. So I just haven't had time to do research or pick a game or anything. If you have suggestions for games to go back and watch and review, let me know. I mean, I'd love to get back to doing that maybe in the spring or even throughout the college football season if I can find some time for it. But we're here today talking about the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, who are undefeated, and the Ohio State Buckeye. I see what I did there. See what I did there? I caught myself. I'll say it. The Ohio State Buckeyes. I can't even say it with a straight face. Well, we're talking about Ohio State. We're talking about Notre Dame. September 24th, 2023, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a great game in South Bend. Going to be a great game. Who's the quarterback for Ohio State? Are they sticking with their quarterback, Kyle McCord? They probably are. Sam Hartman transfers from Wake Forest and is lighting defenses up. Over 500 total yards of offense for Notre Dame. They got over 304 yards passing, 204 yards rushing. Holy cow. That is incredible. It's not even close between these two offenses, but they are two of the best in the game today. Travion Henderson has come back as a senior for Ohio State. He's a running back. Marvin Harrison came back as a receiver, and Kyle McCord's throwing him the ball. Basically, Ohio State pretty much has everything back, except they just got to work a new quarterback in, and that's probably going to make a difference. The game time weather for this weekend for Notre Dame, this will be a 6:30 Central. Notre Dame, Indiana, of course, and um, Ohio State, actually, believe it or not, is the favorite. I don't know if you guys would agree with that, but that is the line. Ohio State minus 3 points. So, and the over-under is 40. I'm sorry. I forgot to mute my phone over there. But Alabama just scored. So, getting better. Anyway, 54 and a half is the over under. This is going to be, oh my gosh, I hate that I'll be at work for this, but this will be a great game for all of us in college football, I think. So when you look at this, I do think it's going to be a close game. It is on the road for Ohio State. I do think the spread is covered. I do think that there is an upset. I like Notre Dame historically to be known for defenses, or they are historically known for defenses. I just like that fact about them. The only bad thing about Notre Dame that I don't like is that they're not in a conference. I know soon, at some point, we hope they're probably going to join the ACC. I don't know. I don't know where we're at with conference realignment. We haven't talked about it. All we know is there's a new Big 12 this year and there's a new SEC the following year with Oklahoma and Texas. Talk about all that some other time. But when you look today, Notre Dame is independent. Meanwhile, you have Ohio State in the Big Ten East, which is probably the best division in football right now because you got Penn State on the rise. They're looking pretty good. Michigan doing what they've done the past couple years and what they could do this year. I like a team like Michigan possibly to win the title, to be honest. Do I have hope in Alabama this year? No, I've lost hope. So I'm going to turn to my next team, And I'm going to pull for my grandparents for Penn State. Yes, Penn State in the Big Ten East. But getting back on track and talking about this game specifically with Ohio State, they have quarterback questions. They have some issues. Kyle McCord's actually looked okay, though. They start out 3-0. This is week 4. He's 53 of 76, 815 yards, 6 touchdowns, and an interception. That's not bad. What is bad, though, hasn't played a good enough defense. Has not played a good enough defense. Indiana, I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to be that good of a team. You scored 23 points on them. 35 points against Youngstown State and 63 points blew out Western Kentucky. That is improvement. That is good. So I think the Buckeyes have the talent to compete a little bit in this game. But I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to pick Notre Dame to win this game. The question is, do they cover the spread? And we'll get to a score prediction later on. But here's what we break down. I think this is going to rely heavily on how explosive does Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman and Sam Hartman want to be. You have Audric Estimine comes back as a running back. Could be one of the top running backs in the draft next year. Going to be really good. And then you got Chris Tyree, who's their lead receiver, 8 receptions, 216 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Go back to Estime for a second. 63 carries, 521 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. That is pretty impressive. Notre Dame was in a hole last year. They struggled and they lost to Marshall. How quickly has Marcus Freeman turned this around? We thought for a split second, at least I did, thought for a split second that it was over. I know that as a first-year head coach, you're going to have your issues. You're going to have your upsets. You're going to have your losses. You're going to have that with Marcus Freeman. But how quickly has he turned things around? I do think that NC State game, now NC State lost Devin Leary to Kentucky and, some other guys in the portal, I'm sure. But 45-24 on the road against a Power 5 team is pretty good, especially a team that in years past has just been able to compete a little bit with some teams. Central Michigan is what they're coming off of. That's a home game, 41-17. They have yet to have a game under 40 points so far, which is very impressive. When you look at what they have as far as the stats, and we really do want to talk about that. So you talk about the stats of Notre Dame, and by the way, in case it did mess up the video because I wasn't watching, but it's amazing. Basically, I'll sum this up that it's amazing to see what Notre Dame has been able to do and overcome. They had some challenges last year, lost to teams like Marshall, and they've turned it around quickly under Marcus Freeman. This is impressive. And this game is going to be great. So get back to this game for a second. What does Notre Dame have to do to win? Do they use the crowd to their advantage? I think any team in college football wants to use the crowd to their advantage. Bama didn't. And seriously, they did it. You had fans leaving that Alabama-Texas game, man. You just, I don't know. I don't know. They struggled. It's a bad year. But Notre Dame's looking really good. Ohio State has looked really good. But what's the competition? What does Uncle Lou say? Who had they played? Well, who has Ohio State played so far? What about Notre Dame? I would say the same thing about Notre Dame. So don't think that this is a rip on Ohio State type of deal. No. Both of these teams are facing a test that they haven't faced this season. This Saturday, both teams have had their issues. Both teams have had their upsides of things. But this Saturday makes something huge for Notre Dame and Ohio State. Top 10 matchup, the lower seed at home in South Bend. Tickets, by the way, if you want to get them from ESPN, $458. That's expensive, but I don't blame them. I'd pay a lot to go to that game. Well, yeah, I'd go to Notre Dame. I'd check that atmosphere out. The thing about Notre Dame, though, who has looked impressive this year? I look at Duke, who pulled the upset over Clemson. I look at Duke. I say those boys are tough. I say those guys are ready to go. They got to play them on the road next week. I just hope that Notre Dame's not overlooking Ohio State, is what you got to be careful of doing this weekend against the Buckeyes. So, that being said, don't want to make this one too long for you guys. The line does favor the Buckeyes, which I don't blame them. But at the same time, I can't find a reason that Notre Dame should lose this game. I just don't. I mean, unless they're choke artists at the end of the game, this is going to be a rocking crowd. This is going to be exciting to watch. This is going to be, I believe, College Game Day is going there this weekend, right? Aren't they going there? I could be wrong. The line is 3. I'll go ahead and give my score prediction too. I do call Notre Dame to pull an upset. I'm going to say 27-24, right on the money with the spread. I think a game-winning field goal or the defense has it covered. I don't really see Notre Dame being a team to go and drive down a touchdown in this game to win the game. I mean, maybe they could, but maybe a game-winning field goal. I think this could be one of those low-scoring shootouts. It'll go back and forth, but you'll still have some punts and you'll have some miscommunication on defense and offense, and it's not going to be super high scoring because both teams do have really good defense. But at the same time, I mean, these offenses aren't super explosive. And like I said at the beginning, this is the first test for both of these teams. You just want to watch and see how they communicate and go up against each other. So, and do I think I think both programs historically are really, really good. It's hard to tell, though. I mean, Ohio State has definitely been the better team in recent years than Notre Dame has. They have made it to a national championship. They've won a championship more recently. They've made the playoffs a couple more times, uh, maybe only by like 1 year. I think maybe they've made it 3 or 4, and Notre Dame's made it. I know Notre Dame's definitely made it like 2 times. I think they played Clemson and Alabama. So, but you look at Ohio State, they are a better program historically, at least in recency. All time, it's hard to tell. I don't have the records pulled up, but Notre Dame is historically good, historically known for football, and so is Ohio State. These fan bases are passionate. They come together. I hope that everyone gets along at this game. I just hope it's good quality football for us fans. I hope it's not a blowout. I hope Notre Dame doesn't just run away with it. Some of y'all are wishing that on Ohio State that they lose in a blowout. I know you are. I don't view things like that. I don't really have hate for Ohio State or really anybody. I get the Ohio State thing gets annoying, but when you boils down to it, a game like this getting this much hype should deserve like we deserve to see a good game. And I think it will be. And I think that's what we get. I think that's what we want to see. So 27-24 is the final score here at Ballard Sports Media for Notre Dame, Ohio State. Be sure to leave your response in the comments, drop your score predictions. Let me know who wins, who covers, anything I didn't cover in this video. I mean, haven't really seen anything on injuries. I know both teams got some good receivers, got some good defensive backs. Penalties going to be a key factor in this game. Who and make big plays. So I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Have a great week ahead. Jesus loves you. Trust and believe that. And we'll see you next time. Ballard Sports Media checking out. Have a good one. No outro. Peace.